Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity with me, Cornish-Knight. As with our newfound group of associates, we are going to head off into the yonder come on. Okay, there we go. So we want to go it like this. Something like that will do. Yep, there we go. Our parties gather, and we are going to go off to try and kill off these Spuns people hiding out in the cave. SpongeBob will not stand a chance. Gotta speed up the travelling quickly. There we go.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
7,000 fans. We at Obsidian wish to our gratitude for the opportunity, feedback and support. Right. To the caves. Quickly. Duran's health is a bit low for some reason. We need to go and get the stuff out of the caves. Right, what has she got equipped? Her crossbow. Okay. Let's go with the her sword combo for now. Let's see we go.
Aye? What?
Okay, so he's got everything up. Right, he's got Holy Radiance, creates a field of holy energy around the priest, burning any vessel in the vicinity, regenerating a modest amount of endurance for allies. The power of the priest, Holy Radiance, is modified by his will, by how well his or her reputation aligned with the preferred behaviour of his or her faith.
Just say the word.
Margaret's fire casts light in dark places.
Right. There's the mushroom people. So,
how may I help?
Get your oil slick out, boy. Right, that's out. What spells does he have? Does he have anything that's an area of effect?
I shall. I'll see what I can find.
Come on. There we go.
Love.
Right, now into combat. Immune to charmed. So that didn't work. I wasted that spell. That's not great. Right. I want to try and find a defensive spell. Let's get him. You switch out for that. You get that. Cast it there, take him a second to do. Right. You get there, smack it with that. Oh, she's really bad. Okay. Heal yourself. You cast... Spore minor endurance. You punch that guy off his feet. You do that. Oh, he needs to get up. Activate your ability. You go and punch him. You continue to wail on this one. Magical missile. This one. Right, that one's down. So you've got to run over here and beat on this one. You're going to continue to smack that one. You're going to magical missile this one again because these guys are tough. What can you do? Armor of Faith. Divine Mark. Yeah, let's mark that one.
Hey,
Right, everyone gang up on this guy. Ooh, man, he's in a bad state. Do you have anything that you can use? No. See, we got... Heal her up.
whore of a goddess.
Oh, she leveled up. Okay, then we'll quickly do this then. Right, so... Get her stealth up and her mechanics. Save that 1 point. Ooh, we've got all these to go through, right. Ranger abilities. Griffin Strike. Relentless Assault. Allows the rogue to break engagement and expertly avoid the next attack. Diving out of range to a specific location and granting temporary defense bonus. Rogue employs a variety of underhanded tactics, turning some of their hits into crit hits. Oh, this would allow her to get out quickly. So let's take this one, that's useful because she's squidgy. Right, so she's relatively back up. We need to
just say the word.
Deal with the big guy. Dark Spore, here we go. Right, hit him with that. Blind it. I'm out of lots of my spells. Run up to it and beat on it. It's probably going to be immune to... Ow, that's not nice. Right, that's not nice at all. Hit that. Hit it again. You continue to smack it with your shield. We'll hit that with this as well, so it'll punish us, it'll have lower defense. Don't let it get that spell off. There we go. So it's dead. Man, that was nasty.
Hey.
So she's in a bad way. Her endurance is coming back up, but her health is low.
Just say the word.
Damn, that was tough. Right, take everything.
Huh? Just say the word.
Right. Dark spores. Moss and mold cover the bones like blanket. They smell earthy and wet. Okay. Getting cave coral. Ooh, that's really nice. Compare. Oh, it's got a stupid crossbow out. 1 second.
Yeah?
Oh, so because I got the wrong weapon out for her. Right, okay. So let's compare. It has finesse, it does... actually, it's better. Because of the enchantment that's on it that she has, so we can take it if needs be.
Just say the word.
Right, we've got the spores. We can stagger back out of the cave. Like, Gwen is... everybody's fine. Everyone's fairly okay and healed. It just shows you in this game that you really need to have a good-sized party to take on some of these missions. Right, so we've got to go back to the witch and heal that up. Once we get that, we can go back into town and finish this quest up, and then we can press on.
Welcome.
Careful with those spawlings, they have a way with the mind. Ragnar taps her temple lightly. It's why the spores are so useful, really. I have the spores you need, you declares Gwen. So do you, excellent. Give the one here and I'll add it to the cauldron. This will not take long. Ragnar, the mixture is ready. Take this to Afura. Tell her to drink it before bed, as it is due to sleep. She should find herself more energetic in the mornings. Tell her to eat more fish and cheese. The potion will sustain a healthy appetite, grant her strength. She is a rather frail woman from what I remember of her. Wait, I thought this was a cure, says Gwen. I can tend to the elements of the body. I cannot cure the affliction of the soul. Certainly not one inflicted by a god. Rangar crosses her arms. I have explained many times, people will believe what they want. So let her believe. Perhaps that will help. Faith is a powerful thing. In the meantime, she will feel more improved. And if her child should not be claimed by the legacy, then it will be born healthy, that I promise. Fine, I'll be going then, you spit. I have done what I can as promised. Tell Afura I wish her well. Right. Let's get the map up. I'll leave as quickly as possible. There should be an exit here. Let's speed up time. No exit? Okay, I thought there was. Maybe up here. Yeah. Right, back to Gilded Vale. It'll take us 10 hours of hard travelling. Melee and paralyzed and petrified. Right, so we stagger up. Like, it's getting night time. Like, we've been on the road for a long 10 hours. Everyone's tired, everyone's hurt. And we sort of stagger out of the gloom into Gilded Vale. And we're returning with this potion, which isn't really going to be much use to a woman who's trying to make sure her child isn't born without a soul. But still, this is the best we can do. So we're going to stagger up this slope. People complaining about the ale. Stagger into the house. Raw damage types always ignore the damage reduction of the target.
Hail and well met.
Oh, you're back. I didn't think you were returning. Afura gazes miserably down at her hands, laid protective of her stomach. What is it? Butcher Ragnar's remedy. Rengar's remedy. You did? You really did. You did it. Afura stares at you for a moment, but Tyria face stunned. Oh, bless you. I don't know what I'd say. I can't thank you enough. Stop it, Isle. You just like... let's see. Wait, you should know something about that potion. Glad to be assistance. And she nods. And you just like, okay, let's just nod. Here, take this. I'm going to use it to repay Rangar with, but you can have it. 20 copper. Thank you again. I'll take this before I settle into bed. Perhaps I'll finally rest easy. Right, so Gwen's leveled up. Let's see what we can give her. Probably want to get her athletics another point. Mechanical wise, that's just for doing disarming traps and stuff. I'll put one into survival, one into athletics. And we'll pocket stealth a bit more, just because she's going to have a lot of armor on, so it's going to be harder to stealth with her. I do love this model of her cape floating out behind her. Right. Abilities. I'm not going to bother to go through all of them, so it'll take a bit of time, so I'm just going to pause here and I shall load back in with you guys once I have finished selection. And we are back, folks. I have chosen Remember Raccoon Field, named for the infamous battle that claimed the lives of the 2,000 Black Walkers, Bleak Walkers, and 6,000 of their foes. The Paladin's Flames of Devotion to additional corroding damage, so it means that we have a bit more damage variety for our Dark Paladin. Let's see if this has changed her personality. Was she still honest? Honestly brutal, I view her as. Gilded Veil as a hero, moderately good. So people will like us more, will they? Well,
yeah.
They may not like us soon for what we're about to do. Right.
I'm on it.
Let's get into the bar. We have one real other. What the? Who's that? Corsic. Hold, madam, but a moment. The hooded man waits upon the road, clad in green cloak. He strides forwards to meet you as you approach. At a close distance, his features are revealed for those of a young man, though lined with weariness. He appears to be favouring his left leg as he walks, and there's a dark stain upon the fabric of his trousers. Under his knee, even so, he greets you with a polite bow. It seems you have done dear Ufura a great service, the man nods towards the nearby house. Anslog's compass is a dangerous place, and let you are willing to venture there to help her. Gilded Veil needs such courage in these dark times, stout hearts. Will you do what is necessary to save these people? He turns to look over the village. Can I count on you amongst the number? Who are you? Mutters Gwen as she readies her great sword. Only a man of determined to see Gilded Veil restored to its former glory. There was a time, strange, when Gilded Veil was worthy of its name. Wheat shone like gold on the hills, and the village people lived well. I don't know about the golden crops, but there were less flies anyway. And what would happen to it now? And what has happened? What has become of it now? Whatever has caused the blight upon our lands, it is not the fault of its people. Redrick looks to punish us for crimes we have not committed, and in turn he is blinded but to his own. I am not, and he is willing to pay for what he will pay for what he has done. I, Korslik, swear it by the flame. Like many tyrants, he has surrounded himself with strong men and women for fear of retribution. The man smiles thinly, and so you are warned. If you would press on, despite that, however, I wonder if we might not help one another. What is it that you want me to do? Of course, I'm a very helpful person. It depends. Do not help others out of charity. It depends. Do not help others out of charity. I saw that one. I see. He turns to belies his disappointment. Well, if I cannot appeal to your sense of justice, perhaps your practical nature will suffice. For the task I ask of you would be to prove all our fortunes. Too long has Gilded Veil suffered under Roderick's madness. Rederick's madness. He would cure Widewind's legacy by ensuring that there are none alive in the village to be affected. I fear his own wife, Yulgrid, may be at risk. The man has no mercy in him. We have not stood idly. My people and I breached the defences intent on ending Roderick's rule ourselves. We entered through the sewers under cover of night, but we were routed. His face darkens. Very dark creatures down there in the dungeons, the work of Roderick's animancer. It falls to you. Lord Roderick has called for reinforcements, and soon there will be none to stop him. Our time grows short, and it is the hour I must beg assistance where I can. Alof, he's going to owe us more than some rubble-strewn plot of land after this. Flinging him from the ramparts, or else cut him down his head from his shoulders, I care not. Once the throne lies empty, Gilded Veil will have the stewardship that it deserves. However, your reasons, I can promise you that your aid will not go unrewarded. Lord Roderick has amassed spoils of a long reign. End it, and you may take your fill. Gilda Gwen leans on her sword and sort of ponders for a moment. If we had an aristocratic, we could take over. Yeah, maybe we could take over for aristocrat. I will find Roderick and deal with him. I'd rather not get involved. Well, there's money to be made, and we're pretty much ruthless, so let's go with that. Then I commend you and your courage and thank you for your assistance, but I will not send you on without dire warning. Raderic's hold is crawling with soldiers and sellswords all loyal to Raderic. They will not take kindly to intruders. In truth, they will be all more alert for our failed efforts. A frontal assault would be unwise. If you would brave it, you should follow our steps and seek out the entrance to the sewers at the east edge of the moat. He looks away, but several of my men were captured. It may be the entrance has been found and sealed anew. Those men were under my command. I would be in your debt if you'd found some means of helping them. Once you make it inside, seek out my old friend Nadmer. He is the high priest Baratheon. Now that the Shining God has fallen, a good man in difficult circumstances, he will listen to reason. Durance chuckles, nearly choking on his own disdain. Shining God, he never shone us so brightly as when the bomb took him. The moniker is obsolete now. Ass does not shine. It's like if someone was to call you attractive priest. Nadbar can help you reach Redrick, but he resides in the upper levels of Redrick's hold, protected by guards and mercenaries. You'll have to keep to the shadows if you mean to reach him without alarming the entire keep. Very well, I'm off then. Thank you for the advice. We'll make good use of it. I'll carve my own path through. More fun that way. No sense in wasting resources if it's not necessary. I'll keep your advice in mind. I'll carve my own path through. More fun that way, chuckles Gwen. There's merit in this path, Watcher. Many lessons to be taught and many at the keep in need of teaching. Call Slick studies you for a moment, so be it, so long as you remember that who the real enemy is. His hold lies past Enston Wood. Gods guide you, stranger. Right, so you've got involved in taking down someone. Doesn't really matter to me at the moment. Come on. So I keep on pressing the wrong button. But that doesn't matter. Let's get into town and we'll get into the tavern and see if we can finish the other outstanding job we have, which is to take care of the drunken dwarf. Right. He's going to be bitchy about this, I know.
Good day, stranger.
Right, let's go. Look, there's no sense in threatening the miller. You have him up against the wall. Maybe you could just ask some of the other villagers to help. Swinner eyes you for a long moment, drinking deep from his mug. Then he sighs. You're right. Things go on like they are. We'll just end up hanging from the other tree out there. He looks to his comrades. Tell Tremble we'll leave him be. Don't know what we'll do now with the crops failing. We haven't got enough trade to speak of. Think Pesca needs a hand around the inn. Right. So that has increased our reputation. Yeah, that was bad. Dagnabbit. Okay. I should have just killed him. Because that's going to affect... I should have just killed him, dagnabbit. Yeah. Faith conviction, it's dropped. Because I need to be a bit more nasty. Right, fine it is. Go on a killing spree. I thought I just sort of killed him. Spend time travelling with Durance. Fragment to take it to bring Eric to the speak with me. Yeah. So those are the outstanding things. So that's all the quests that are done. Yeah, I'm not happy that I've got diplomatic bonuses.
Hey,
Let's just talk for a second, see what he have any information. I hope that old Watcher's still there. Been years since I've heard anything about him. What is it you want to ask the Watcher in Ked Nuar? Just some things about the past, about the war. I've been thinking I missed my chance to find out what I wanted to know about old Watcher, though. He opened up some new possibilities. I was wondering about Eorfes.
It makes two of us.
What is it? What is there to know about Eorfes?
If you're looking to find religion, maybe you want to start with a god that hasn't been burned to dust, but I won't stop you. Aethys, he was a young man with a silver crown. Carried a candle around with him. Sounds like I'm giving a bad eulogy here.
He utters an amused grunt. He was a lot different things to different people, I guess. Rebirth, redemption, light. Out in the country, he is Gwen, the farmer who helps all things passing, seasons and people both. He watched over the week, does Gwen, sees imbalances made right. You can see why all the Copolis rowdies around here might take a liking to someone like that. He was real popular here for a time. These days you won't find not many words with Eorfes in the open. It's hard to know who still does in the private and who gave up. Feels like I'm one of the last sometimes, he smirks. If that's the case, he deserves all the mourning. Do you still worship Eorfes?
In my way. I don't suppose he expects me to show up at his temple these days. Not much left to do for him other than keep his memory alive and keep hoping that he's just been playing a joke on all of us these past 15 years.
As far as I know, he hasn't said anything to anybody since the God Hammer detonated. Why worship him then? He grimaces. Well, if it turns out he's not dead and I gave up on him, I would have to betray my God twice. Even a God of redemption's got to have standards. I'll probably be reborn as a fat almost horse. That's not really it, though. Not at all. Anyway, he casts a sidelong glance. Guess it's more I still believe in things he believed in. I just hope his death doesn't mean the death of those things as well. Sometimes it looks that way. Why did you choose to worship Eorfes in the beginning?
Raised that way. My family's been Aethasian going way back. Suppose it wasn't much of a choice at first. Don't know for sure why my family started worshipping him. Probably because of Gon looking after folks like us.
He looks you in the eye, conspirationist. Can't pronounce the word. Could just as well be that my ancestor did something so bad that only Eorfes could forgive. It would explain a lot about where I got some of my less respectable traits. Do you only worship him because you know that's how you were raised?
Mm-mm. There was something I genuinely liked about Aethys. Always. Like he understood people better than the other gods. Knew all our flaws and weaknesses and accepted us for that. Folks are at their worst when they're afraid. A god like Aethys, he made you realize there was nothing to fear. Made you a better person. Of course, he goes away for a few years, and look what happens.
What made you think that Widwen didn't speak for Eorfes?
Was his actions. Not when he started his rebellion, and not even when he took over Raed Saris. It was when he sent his armies into Deerwood.
Up to that point, he was sticking up for his people. That's what Eorfes does. Least the Gwen part of him. Those farmers were starving and their government didn't lift a finger. I figured it wasn't Eorfes himself. At least he had the right idea. But then he started to send armies across the border. Even crossed it himself in the end. Word was he was chasing refugees that had escaped the rebellion, wanted to punish them, and punish us for allowing them to live here. That just didn't fit with me. Those were the deeds of vengeful God, Skaren or Woodwekasia, maybe, or just a man who lost his sense. I still have trouble believing it, but there's no one left to ask if that's the truth. Tell me about the purges.
You sure you don't want to talk about something more pleasant, like the War of Black Trees or the Legacy or something?
It's eye-opening, seeing just how naked you are when you've got no god to protect you. The Saints' War was hard time to be a Deerwoodian. people thought it was the end times. They talked big about how we were going to defeat a god, but I didn't think there was a man from here to the White Marts didn't think he was going to die. It does something to you, something you got to thinking you're going to die at someone else's hands. There's a rage that comes, indignation. Imagine a whole country full of that. Might have been Cold Morn that started it. Town near the border. They let Icewind march right on through. Rest of the deal would curse their names to the end of the war. Some say it was the Eotheans that had persuaded the town not to oppose the army. Others said it was just cowardice. It was like the legacy that way. No one knew the real reason, so they just picked whatever one best suited what they wanted to believe. Either way, the town was burning before the first ashes of Eothas hit the ground, and it felt good to the people here to be in control after being so helpless. So the fire spread. A lot of us Eotheans went the way of our god. There were claims from the church of Magran that she actually commanded the purges. I found that hard to believe. Sounded to me like people doing what they wanted, wrapping their god around it like she was a cloak. Then again, that's what I thought about Icewind. Got something else to ask. Want to ask something about you. What did you do before this?
Oh, other than the war, I never strayed too far from where you found me. Farming, mostly. I was never much for cities. Never learned a trade. In my younger days, I thought I was going to go preach the word of Eothas. Just in our temple there. My parents encouraged it. I made so much trouble for them growing up. They used to say it'd be best if I got in good with the god of redemption. Of course, us blowing him up probably didn't help my chances there. But if anybody'd forgive you for blowing him up, it'd be Eothas.
Did the people of Gilded Vale really try to kill you? Inquires Gwen.
They did. It was strange timing, because we just won the war. They celebrated when I came home. There was music and dancing. Trumbull used half his grain making this big honey cake. I still dream about that cake. Like having the best lover of your life, but only for one night. And they were all sorry to hear about my brother. It took a while for word of the purges to reach us. Eothasians being murdered in the streets. Cold Morn and the like. No way would they let something like that happen in Gilded Vale. That's what they all said. But the weeks went by and the purges spread. Pretty soon they weren't so sure my brother fought for Deerwood. And they weren't so sure I did. Caught me by surprise after all the celebrating. Should have seen it coming after the tailor said he was going to fit me for some new clothes, but then all he wanted was my neck measurement.
Really?
Nah, not that last part. But you had to think about it. Says a lot about the place I've been calling home all these years.
Why did you want to stay in a town that hated you, you inquire?
Well, I'm sure my parents are still wondering the same thing. The Eothasian purges were like this madness had come over the town, like a disease. Seems like when you see something like that, your instinct is to wait for it to pass, even when you know it probably won't. The family whose farm I worked on, they had a little hollowborn girl. And they heard the Animancers had this cure, the salvation it was called. They went running. This salvation, they were putting animal souls in children. You might have heard about it. Giving them enough personality to care for themselves. You can guess how that turned out. Matter of time, the children broke down. Became wild things. Monsters. Anyway, these farmers put the family dog's soul in their little girl. For a while, the girl, she's making eye contact, she's feeding herself, albeit in a kind of messy way. And one day she snaps. They found her gnawing on her brother's bones. Had to chain her up, put her in a cow pen. Well, the mother, she wouldn't have anything to do with the girl after that. But the father, he visited every day. Feed her chickens, toss water on her once in a while to get the dirt off. Most of the village, they'd whisper about him. Poor man, they'd say, sick with grief. He was just waiting for his daughter to look up one day and recognize her papa. He was waiting for her to get better. Didn't understand that at the time, of course, but these days I think about him a lot.
Do you have any family? That's my parents now. They took a ship back to Adria when the purges started, wanted me to go with them, but I didn't see things like they did. Been a long time since I've seen them, really should visit, but for some reason I haven't much felt like leaving home. Good thing they chased me out, or I might never have left.
What's on your mind?
Right, so that's his story. Man,
Just say the word.
man, that's a bleak story. Right. I need to get my reputation up for all the wrong reasons, because my stuff, I'm not being the best person in the world. My faith is lacking. I need to kill some more people. I should have just killed the farmer, to be honest. Guy was a chump. Sort of beaten his head in with a stick. Right. That's on the way we need to go, so we need to go to Black Meadow, do we? Right, we're at Black Meadow. She's in a bad state. But this is where we're going to end it. I am going to have to deal with this diplomatic with my reputation. I do not like it being like that. Yeah, it's causing me to have facing convictions, giving me penalties. I'm going to have to correct that somehow. Probably by killing stuff. Anywho, I've been Cornish-Knight. If you have liked, please press the like button. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button. Or leave a comment in the comment sections. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Steam, and tune back in for the continued adventures of Gwen, Ravenheart, and Space Pig. I shall see you all next time. Goodbye, folks.